Hello everyone, this is Victor. Welcome back to the channel. Today we arrive at what many fans, and I count myself among them, consider the greatest Metal Gear game ever made, Snake Eater. Released in 2004 for the PlayStation 2, Metal Gear Solid 3 is a prequel to the entire series. It takes place in 1964, at the height of the Cold War, 31 years before the original Metal Gear. This is not the story of Solid Snake. It is the story of the man who came before him, a soldier named Jack, codenamed Naked Snake, who would one day earn a different name entirely, Big Boss. And at the center of everything is a woman. Not a villain in any simple sense. Not a hero in any comfortable sense. Just a soldier doing the most extraordinary and terrible thing any person can do.
Boss?
But all of that comes later. First, we begin with a rescue mission in the Soviet jungle, and a young man who does not yet know what he is about to lose. The year is August 1964. Naked Snake is deployed into Selenoyarsk, a mountainous jungle region of the Soviet Union, on a mission called Operation Virtuous Mission. His objective is to locate and extract Nikolai Stepanovich Sokolov, a Soviet rocket scientist who defected to the United States 2 years earlier, before being returned as part of the Cuban Missile Crisis resolution. Sokolov had been quietly building something for the Soviets since his return, something called the Shagohod, a tank capable of launching nuclear missiles from almost anywhere without a fixed site. Snake's support team includes Major Zero, his commanding officer, Paramedic, his field surgeon, and for this mission something unusual. The boss herself, his own mentor, guiding him by radio. Snake is also helped by Sigint, a weapons specialist, and expects to meet a CIA contact named Adam inside Soviet territory. The operation seems manageable for a soldier of Snake's ability. He locates Sokolov with relative ease. The scientist is terrified, exhausted, and desperate to leave. Snake begins extraction, and then everything changes in the span of a few seconds.
You must be Sokolov.
Are you one of Volgin's men? You'll never get it from me.
No. I'm a CIA agent. I've come to escort you back to the other side of the Iron Curtain.
You're CIA?
Yeah. I was sent by Major Zero, the man who got you out 2 years ago.
Zero?
I have a message from him.
What is it?
He said to tell you sorry for being so late.
The boss appears on the bridge, not over the radio, in person. She disarms Snake without apparent effort, breaks his arm, and tells him she has joined the other side. The defection is real. With her come the Cobras, still loyal to her after all these years. With her comes something far more dangerous. 2 Davy Crockett portable nuclear launchers, American weapons she had brought across the border. The GRU Colonel Volgin is waiting, a man who conducts electricity through his body, who funds his private ambitions with the stolen philosopher's legacy, and who wants the Shagohod for his own coup.
Boss?
Good work, Jack.
What are you doing here?
Sokolov comes with me. Think you can pull the trigger?
You've seen my face. We can't let him live. If Khrushchev finds out about this, we're finished. He must die.
Wait. He's my apprentice. I'll take care of him. Jack, you can't come with us.
He takes Sokolov. He takes the boss and the Cobras into his service, and as he departs, he fires one of the boss's American nuclear warheads directly at the Soviet facility, destroying it. The explosion is immediately detected. Soviet Premier Khrushchev contacts the American president and makes the situation plain. An American weapon just detonated on Soviet soil. Explain this or face war. Before I forget, if you are enjoying this video, please hit that like button right now. It helps us more than you know. Subscribe to the channel too. It truly means everything, thank you. The explanation the Americans give is simple and brutal. The defector did it. The boss is guilty. And the price of averting World War III is that the United States sends someone to kill her. Snake spends a week in a military infirmary, broken arm healing, being interrogated by people who suspect him of helping her defect. Zero visits him and explains the situation with quiet urgency. The only way to clear Fox's name and prevent Snake's execution is for Snake himself to go back in, kill Vulcan, destroy the Shagohod, recover the Philosopher's legacy, and kill the boss. The mission is called Operation Snake Eater. Snake accepts he has no real alternative, and he goes back into the Soviet jungle alone to kill the woman who taught him everything he knows. The jungle itself is the game's greatest character. Snake must hunt animals, treat his own wounds, manage his stamina. The wilderness does not care about Cold War politics or classified missions. He meets Eva, an ex-NSA agent ostensibly working as Vulcan's mistress, who turns out to be Adam's supposed partner in the Soviet network. She guides him, feeds him, and saves his life more than once.
The name's Eva.
Ocelot, still young, still learning, watches Snake with a gunfighter's curiosity. He is supposed to be Vulcan's man, but he clearly admires Snake and keeps intervening in ways that help him survive.
We'll see.
To reach Sokolov, Snake must pass through the Cobras one by one. These are not ordinary enemies. Each one carries the scar of a different battlefield emotion, and each fight carries its own weight. The pain commands hornets like weapons. The fear moves through the jungle like smoke. The end is the world's greatest sniper, ancient and patient, and his fight is one of the most unique in any game. The Fury was a cosmonaut who burned on re-entry, his rage at the universe itself visible in every movement. Each Cobra is a soldier who gave everything and received nothing. Each is a piece of the ball. Snake fights and kills them all, and with everyone that falls, the question becomes more urgent. What was it all for? Why are these extraordinary people, these veterans of the world's worst conflicts, here?
What a splendid way to end it all.
At Groznygrad, Volgan's fortress, Snake finds Sokolov and discovers Eve's cover, but he is captured before he can extract the scientist. Volgan is waiting.
But I'm afraid you're too late.
Too late? Don't tell me. The Shagohods.
Exactly. The final preparations for Phase 2 are complete.
Sokolov.
Major, what are you doing here? I've been waiting for you in my room. Who are you? Don't play dumb with me. If you think you can fool me, you're sorely mistaken. I know the Major better than anyone else. I come here looking for Tatiana, and what should I find? But a greasy freebooter.
What is this fairy disguise? It's gonna rub off on you. And then you'll lose sight of who you really are.
What follows is one of the most unforgettable torture sequences in any game. Volgan beats Snake methodically, demanding to know why he is there. Snake refuses to break. The boss stands nearby and watches. She does not intervene. She does nothing, and her silence in that room is one of the most devastating moments in the entire Metal Gear series. At one point, Volgan's suspicion falls on Eve, who is undercover as Tatiana. He fires a pistol into the room. Snake shifts his position to take the round in his eye rather than let Eva die.
Here we go.
He loses his right eye. When asked by his captors if there is anything he wants to say, he says nothing. Later, Ocelot visits his cell alone and returns his gun. A quiet, unexplained act of respect. Snake escapes through the sewers, pursued and outnumbered. He jumps from a waterfall. Near death, he has a vision, the sorrow walking toward him through a gray river. The sorrow forces him to face the souls of everyone he has killed on the mission. The pain, the Cobras, the Soviet Guard. Every life he has taken stands in his path before he is allowed to continue. It is a confrontation with consequence. With the cost of being a weapon, Snake wades through them all and dies at the end of the river. Then he wakes up, uses an item to revive himself, and continues. Eva finds him, gives him his equipment, tells him she has been Tatiana all along. They plan one more infiltration of Grozny Grad to plant explosives on the Shagohod and destroy it from inside. The plan partially works. Snake plants the charges, but he is discovered before he can escape. And what follows is a chase across the Soviet countryside on motorcycles, then a direct confrontation with the Shagohod itself. Snake destroys the machine. Volgan, weakened, is struck by lightning in the final moment and falls. The world's nuclear nightmare 1964 dies with him on the side of a road in a Soviet jungle.
Who's afraid of a little thunder?
Fried by a bolt of lightning. A fitting end.
Eva is waiting with a seaplane on a lake nearby, and the boss is waiting too, alone in a field of white flowers, in her white suit, the sun going down behind her, asking nothing of anyone. Snake goes to meet her, and the final conversation between them, before their last fight, is the most honest thing either of them has ever said to another person. To understand her, we need to go further back than 1964. The world Snake enters is not random. It was built, piece by piece, by choices made years before the first parachute drop. The boss was born in the 1920s, the child of one of the original philosophers. She became the greatest soldier the United States had ever produced, before the United States was willing to admit it. During World War II, she created and led the Cobra Unit, a special forces squad unlike anything that had come before, each member defined by a different emotion forged in the heat of battle. The Cobras turned the tide of the Normandy landings. They were instrumental in the Allied victory, and when the war ended, they were disbanded, their contributions officially unrecognized, their wounds quietly ignored. In 1962, the boss was given an assignment she could not refuse. She was ordered to kill the Sorrow, a former Cobra member, her partner in the Soviet Union, and the father of her child. She did it because she was a soldier, and because the philosophers threatened to kill her son if both of them survived. She shot the Sorrow through the eye on a bridge in the Soviet Union. Her son had already been taken from her the moment he was born. The philosophers, the same organization that controlled world events and funded covert operations, removed the infant from her arm. That child was Adamska, who would one day be known as Revolver Ocelot. The boss never raised him. She gave everything, including the right to be a mother, to the organization she served. By 1964, the boss had been through more than any soldier alive. She had seen the Earth from space. She had fought in every major conflict of the previous 20 years. She had buried everything personal. And then she was given one final mission, the most devastating assignment her government would ever give her. One that would require her to be the best soldier she had ever been, one last time. She tells him about the Cold War, about how the world is divided not by geography or ideology, but by the choices powerful men make and the soldiers they send to carry those choices out. She tells him that she has lived through enough of those divisions to understand that they are temporary, that the enemies of today are the allies of tomorrow, that the world itself has no fixed shape. She tells him about the vision she had from space during the Mercury project, looking down at the Earth. No borders, no nations, no flag, just one world, full of people who did not yet know they could share it. She tells him she wants to be a part of that world, not the divided world of Cold War politics, but the world that comes after it, if it is allowed to come at all. And then she raises her weapon, because she is a soldier, and soldiers finish their mission. Their battle is long. It is brutal. It is between two people who love each other in the way that only a mentor and a student can, after years of learning and trust and absolute honesty. Snake wins. The boss lowers her weapon and waits for the final shot. She does not resist. She does not ask for mercy. She has made her peace with what she is about to give, and she gives it freely. Snake pulls the trigger. He lays down his weapon and weeps. Somewhere in him, in that moment, something changes permanently, and the man who existed before the shot does not quite exist after it.
There's only room for one boss and one snake.
He and Eva escape to Alaska. They spend the night together. Eva is gone in the morning. She leaves behind a recording that finally explains everything that has been withheld until now. Eva was never a Soviet double agent. She was a spy for the Chinese branch of the philosophers, sent to steal the legacy microphone. Everything she told Snake about herself was constructed. The boss had known Eva's true identity from the beginning. She told Eva the truth about the mission before the final confrontation, and she trusted Eva to pass that truth to Snake afterward. The boss had not defected. Her defection was a mission assigned by the United States government. She had been ordered to infiltrate Vulgan's ranks, locate the philosopher's legacy, and recover it. The plan required her to appear to be a genuine traitor. It required Vulgan to trust her completely, which meant the Davy Crockett launch had to happen, which meant Snake had to be genuinely betrayed. The plan also required a final act. Because the United States could not admit any of this without exposing its own covert operation, the boss's name could never be cleared, ever. She was required to die as a traitor, required to let her former student kill her in a field of white flowers in a foreign country so that a government she had served her entire life could walk away clean. She knew this when she accepted the mission. She accepted it anyway, because she was a patriot, and because she believed in the deepest part of herself that the world she was protecting was worth more than her name. Snake is awarded the title of Big Boss by the President of the United States. He receives the Distinguished Service Cross. He is the man who killed the legendary soldier who betrayed her country. He visits her grave. It is unmarked. Just a stone in a military cemetery among thousands of others. No name, no recognition, no acknowledgement of what she actually was. He stands there, the greatest soldier in the world, holding the salute of a man who has just been broken by what he now understands. And the camera holds that image, and the credits roll.
She was a true patriot.
Now let us talk about what this game was saying, because Metal Gear Solid 3 is doing something extraordinary. It is a love letter to an idea that most war stories cannot afford to admit. The game asks what it means to be a patriot, and it answers that question by showing the gap between what governments call patriotism and what patriotism actually costs. The boss gave her country everything: her privacy, her body, her child, her partner, her reputation, and finally her life. She received in return an unmarked grave and an official designation as a traitor. That is not hypocrisy in the game's logic. That is simply the truth of what nations do with the soldiers they use. They consume them, they classify the consumption, and they move on to the next one. Snake does not understand this for most of the game. He believes in the mission. He believes in his country. He believes the defection is real because the evidence is designed to make him believe it. The game is constructed so that the player believes it too. Every detail is arranged to make the boss seem genuinely guilty, genuinely dangerous, genuinely the villain of the story. And then the rug is pulled, and everything you thought you saw was a performance, executed at enormous cost, by someone who was asked to be the villain of someone else's story, so that the real story could stay hidden. Kojima is asking a question every soldier in every war should be allowed to ask. Do the people who send me understand what they are asking? And will they tell the truth about it afterward? The boss's answer is that they will not, and that she accepted this, and that she believed the cause was worth the cost. But the game does not celebrate her acceptance, it mourns it. The Cobra unit represents what happens to warriors when the war that made them ends. They cannot go back to ordinary life. They define themselves by what they survived, by the emotions that marked them. The pain and the fear and the fury and the end are not villains. They are soldiers who never found a reason to stop, who followed the boss because she was the only person who still understood them. The game suggests that this is what nations produce and then discard. Extraordinary people shaped entirely by conflict, who have no place in the peace they helped create, and who eventually die in another war. Bizarro's fight is the most direct statement of this theme. He forces Snake to walk through the dead, to see them not as targets neutralized, but as lives ended, each one with its own weight. It is the only moment in any Metal Gear game where the game itself stops and demands that you account for what you have done. Not what the enemy did, what you did. Every shot. That accounting is what separates Snake Eater from most war games. It refuses to let violence be consequence-free. It insists that every act of force has a face and a weight and a cost. The Cold War setting is not nostalgia. It is a deliberate choice to show the system of world politics in its most naked form, two great powers using smaller people to fight their invisible war. Neither the United States nor the Soviet Union appears as a noble institution in this game. Volgin is a Soviet monster, but the Americans who sent the boss on her final mission are no less monstrous. They designed her death. They required her to die as a traitor so that a political negotiation could end cleanly, and no one in the history books will ever know what she actually was. The game's final image, Snake at that unmarked grave, is the most honest thing Kojima ever put into Metal Gear. It acknowledges what the story cannot fix. The truth did not save her name. She died unknown. She will remain unknown. And the man who killed her will be called the greatest soldier in the world by the government that destroyed her for the rest of his life. That is what Metal Gear Solid 3 is about. Not just the Cold War, not just soldiers, the cost of serving a story that was never really yours, and what remains when the performance is over. I am leaving recommended videos on the card right now for you to check out next. Thank you so much for watching, and see you later on, so GG plays.
Yes, Grozny Grad and the Granin Research Facility have both been wiped out without a trace. I understand, sir, but they were necessary sacrifices. Yes, the CIA has taken care of the boss themselves. I believe the White House will be satisfied. Khrushchev is finished. Your time has finally arrived. Yes, the American president is relying on us to keep a lid on the whole affair. We've got him by the balls. It should make a valuable trump card in future negotiations. Yes, Chief Director, of course. I'll keep the KGB informed. Yes, it's me. The boss has accomplished her mission. The philosopher's legacy is now safely with us, in America's hands. With this money, yes, the philosophers can finally be revived. The film we handed the Chinese was a fake. Peking must be in an uproar right about now. I'm afraid so. only half the money has made it back to the United States. The KGB must still have part of the legacy. Yes, the weapon has been reduced to ashes. That's right. Grozny Grad has been obliterated by the Davy Crockett we brought in as well. Yes, that was the boss's work too. Speaking of which, I've obtained something from Granin that you might find interesting. It's a revolutionary new nuclear attack system. Perhaps it might just come in handy someday. Yes, we have Snake to thank for that. Khrushchev believed it as well. Yes, they bought our story. I don't think they'll be making a fuss. The secondary alert has been lifted as well. And the Soviets still haven't discovered my true identity. They have no idea that I've been triple-crossing them. I will continue my activities as a contact for the new government. Yes, it appears that no one knew that I was Adam. Of course, I'm always at the CIA's disposal, Mr. Director.